Hi, I'm Liz Forrest, and today on the Community Dialogues, I'm here with Faith Reeves, and she is the new Sustainability Coordinator for the City of Fairfield. And I am super excited to have her here with us because I cannot wait to learn more about this position and what all it does, because I am in the dark here a little bit and don't know exactly what all this entails. So if you would please enlighten me.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you for the opportunity to come in and talk about it.
Yeah.
And honestly, before I stepped into the position, I didn't know much about what it entailed either. So
Feel a little better.
yeah, and so I'm still rather new to the position. I started in November, right around November 15th, mid-November of this last year. And this particular position, the sustainability coordinator, is a role that's a three-year projected role.
Awesome.
And so I'm stepping in at the end of year one, and I have 2 years to do this work. And so what we're doing is collectively, my role is to help guide and organize a group of community members, around 35 individuals, really engaged, passionate community members,
Awesome.
many experts in their fields.
Mm-hmm.
We call this group the RAC, the Resilient Action Committee.
Awesome.
So the Resilient Action Committee bubbled up or developed out of the Resilient Action Initiative, and that's where my position was germinated. The Sierra Club, we in the last, I guess, really since the beginning of COVID, 3-4 years, we invited or were blessed to have an amazing new community member come to Fairfield. Her name is Ann Walton, and she took over a leadership role in the Sierra Club, and she has an immense capacity for process development, organization, and projecting out.
Yeah.
And so she basically came into this role with strength and started to reorganize the processes and comprehensive planning for the Sierra Club.
Awesome.
That was an amazing gift for the community.
Yeah.
And so she and others of the Sierra Club have gone through the process of taking the Go Green plan. So Fairfield has been sustaintably oriented for quite some time.
For a while, yep.
You know, we were blessed with an amazing mayor for 18 years, 19 years, Ed Malloy, who helped bring in our original comprehensive plan, who helped support the development of the Go Green plan, along with another large group of community members, compassionate, passionate, sustainably minded community members who developed the Go Green plan. That Go Green plan expired.
Yeah.
And then another plan was developed, the Fairfield Forever plan. And so in their wisdom, the Sierra Club went through and did a revision after they wrote their comprehensive plan and did a revision of the Go Green plan and the Fairfield Forever plan and realized where there were gaps.
Yeah, for sure.
in particular areas where we had put forth goals for sustainable projects, but perhaps maybe were not really highlighting all of the areas, or we were not fully complete in the implementation.
Yeah, just kind of falling short maybe a little.
Perhaps, you know, that's just natural. If you're,
Yep.
if it's not in front of your face, if you're not actually reminded of it, it's not something that you are going to be focused on continuously. And
exactly.
it takes a village, you know.
It does.
And so they really realized that a sustainability coordinator was needed to help with this process. And so thus my role was developed, and the Resilient Action Initiative was developed. And so that is a group that is derived from members of the Sierra Club, members of the city, or member of the city, and a member of MIU's collective management. So they went about fundraising for this position. And so they fully funded this position for 3 years. Awesome. There was a sustainability coordinator who filled the first year of this position, and she was wonderful in that first season of the position, decided not to continue on, and that's where I come in.
Yeah.
So at this point, we have the Resilient Action Committee, that group of 35 community members who are brought together focusing on particular themes. And so we have 6 subcommittees that have thematic areas that they're focusing on. We have land use, we have waste management, we have enterprise solutions and community connections. We have food ways, and so that's, you know, dealing with food capacity, food security, food processing, like that.
Yep.
We also have the Buildings and Energies Group and Environmental Management or Private Land Stewardship Management Group.
Awesome.
So we have 6 subcommittees. And the goal is to have these individuals and these subcommittees work in their thematic areas to develop modules for this plan. So we're working towards developing a resilient action plan for the City of Fairfield. Of course, it will include the county. We're not restricted to a boundary in that way, but our hope is that we'll have a really well received, perceived, adopted plan at the end of this 2-year program. And so we are currently in, working through our first quarter here of my role, and we're working through developing or understanding completely where the problems are, well-defined problems within those thematic areas. And then we're working on, getting a really good definition, a really good problem statement for those thematic areas, for those particular issues. And so each subcommittee may have 3 to 5 areas that they've prioritized as issues or problems that they're focusing on.
Wow.
And then what we're asking them to do is to work through within themselves, to work through creating a problem statement for each one of those issues. And so that's going to take going into, we have bukus of resources for each one of these subcommittees where they are looking at other comprehensive plans for cities all over the nations or communities all over the nation, but we're really trying to focus in on our Midwest region. And so we're looking at those other comprehensive plans to look for models of practice that are, no need to reinvent the wheel, need to do redundant work, but we're looking to find out where those areas mimic ours. We're a small rural community. We're actually called a, what do they say? Micropolitan. We're a micropolitan. Under 10,000. But a majority of these other plans are written in cities that are much larger.
I love that you said that because I feel like it's so important. Sometimes people just look at, oh, we've already got this program, like let's just do this, and they don't look back to see like apples to apples. Like, is this plan best for us? So I love that you're taking that aspect into consideration as you go forward and create this for this community. That's amazing.
The goal is to be super hyper local to our individual issues in our community. And again, we're just working with a group of 35 to 40 individuals. We don't know what all the problems are, but we can orient ourselves to what we perceive the problems to be. We can do our deep research to investigate what those problems are. But we eventually, further down the road, say quarter 3, we are going to have to go out into the community and ground truth these problem statements, these objectives. We're going to have to bring it to the community and really get that full community, not necessarily buy-in at this point, but feedback. And so we have a process that steps us all along the way in the development of this plan, but our goal is to have realistic, practical recommendations that we can then bring to the city at the end of this 2-year process with a completed resiliency plan and an implementation plan that runs alongside it.
That's beautiful. I absolutely love that because, I feel like so many community issues, like whether it's just, city or the whole community, like I feel like there's been somewhat of a disconnect, in the last so many years where people don't necessarily feel like they've been heard and what they perceive as issues and problems haven't necessarily been verbalized by some of these, other entities. So I feel that this is a huge, huge forward step for not only just the city, but the community, like where we're going and what we're creating for our local area. So absolutely excited about this. And I love like that you have this forward thinking lens where you're looking at it through not just tunnel vision, but like looking at the bigger picture and the broader picture because that's so important. So and I know sometimes people just kind of get one thing after another and like they forget like that there's more to it than just themselves and their needs. And I love that you've got like the big group of 35 people who are all out there for the same common good. So I'm super excited about this. So as far as like year 2, after we kind of get more of this stuff in place and we're learning more about it, what do you envision year 3 looking like? Or is that too far ahead to even know at this point yet?
Yeah, and so, the beginning of year 2, we hope to be bringing together that plan. The end of this year, 2024, the goal is to have a draft of this plan. Yeah. And then we're going to be out in the community doing those block parties, doing those collective gatherings, and really, first, we need to bring it to the entirety of the RAC. So all along the way, we're going to, we are a group that meets once a month as a larger group, but each one of our subcommittees meets every 2 weeks. And we're all working on our particular thematic areas. Yeah. So we bring back to the RAC those completed processes, and we kind of, get our feedback from that larger group. So we want to make sure that we all understand what we're talking about collectively, that we all have that 30,000-foot view. And then we need to make sure that all of the stakeholders that we're asking to bring this plan forward and to utilize it, we got to make sure that they're completely informed and completely in the loop on the process. And so all along the way, we'll, bring it to City Council, we'll bring it into communication with the county, we'll bring it into communication with the community as we start to get these modules developed. Yeah. But in year 2, we're going to have to really work on that implementation plan. So we'll have the actual resiliency plan, what we'd love to see Fairfield look like in 5, 10, 15, 30 years. Yeah. But now we need an implementation plan that runs alongside it. How do we achieve all this? And that, that end of that year 2, we're hoping that the city will see the value of this process, and that the plan will be fully implemented or at least accepted for full implementation. And we hope that my position will continue, but we don't know yet. So I'll be here. I'm plugged in, and so I'll always be a part of the process. But we'd love to see a sustainability coordinator be funded to continue the process of moving it forward along the way.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's amazing. And I just want to throw this out there, the things that you do in our community, this is not the only project that you've been a part of. There's so many things that you've done within the community that you've gained so much extra insight. So I feel like that's really important, for people to understand, moving forward is you've been active, you are recognizing where we have issues and problems and how we can help. So you're really essentially a key person for this position and the growth of our community and our city moving forward. So yeah, I just think that's great, because I know there's other things that, for our viewers who maybe haven't had the opportunity to get to know you, what else have you been doing within the community, if you want to just let us know that. Yeah.
So really, I cut my teeth in Fairfield. I came to the community to study sustainable living, and loved the program, but ended up being invited to apply for a position that ended up being a dream position for me. I got to work with an amazing small manufacturing company in the community who developed just amazing products, but they wanted someone to design and implement a sustainable food system for them. And I have always had a deep love for gardening and farming and food production, and so I did that for 11 years. And all along the way doing that, I had the opportunity to, reach out into the community through, whether it's workshops or, being a guest speaker at the university, or working with United Way, or working with CETA, or developing youth garden clubs, or different activities like that. I've had an opportunity to engage in the community and support that desire to be in service. And so after my position there ended, I ended up picking up a role. I'm on the board of the Sustainable Living Coalition, the SLC. So much easier just to say the SLC, where we received a grant for supporting home gardeners, low and moderate income household gardeners, to develop their own home gardens. So whether it was resources, so we had an amazing nursery owner and garden center owner, Tiffany April Rains from Wild Spirits Farm. She grew all of our plant starts. So we provided plant starts, we provided materials to build beds, we provided compost and soil, but we also provided education. Werner and I recorded 26, in the garden how-tos, tutorials on home gardening from, the moment you put a seed in the ground until you get that harvest into the kitchen, And so lots of education, lots of in-garden coaching. So I got to go around and do in-garden consultations and coaching. Really love that. And then, I've been a part of the Hunger Dialogues. I'm really food. I'm a foodie. I am a foodie. I'm a farmer. I love to grow food. But I also have a deep passion for food insecurity. And leveling that playing field. How do we do that? How do we make sure that food sovereignty is something that everyone can fully embody and feel secure in? And so I've been working a lot around food in the community for quite some time.
And I just think that's amazing because, again, I feel like that's something that is an issue within our community, and it's something that needs to be addressed, and that is just one piece of the bigger picture. So I know we talked about holistic care and whatnot before we started, and it's just looking at all the pieces of the puzzle, and it's not just one thing, it's all the parts. We have to look at them all. So I love that you're looking through this lens with all of these subcommittees and all of these people, and you're addressing the whole picture. So I just think that's amazing. Is there anything else that you'd like to share with us about your goal or your vision as we move forward?
I would just say, keep an eye out for opportunities to engage with us. We'll be reaching out later throughout the season. I would say once it starts to warm up and you get a little, burst of apple blossoms and sunshine, we'll likely be reaching out into the community looking for those opportunities to get feedback and engage. So please keep your eye out for that. And then by all means, don't be shy. That's what I'm here to do, is to, listen to others, offer suggestions around what is needed or what would assist them in feeling more resilient in this community. And so please reach out if that's something that you feel called to do. And it's amazing to be a part of a wonderful team and to have a great group of community members. We're pretty lucky. We're pretty lucky in our community to have such engaged individuals who really are willing to give of themselves, to volunteer their time for this process. And I'm really feeling blessed on that regard.
And there's such a diverse skill set between all of the members too. So I mean, we are very lucky. We have such phenomenal people that live in our community and people who are just absolutely driven to give and serve. So I just think that's amazing. So we'll get your information attached to the video. So anybody who's interested in reaching out and connecting with Faith in regards to this program, absolutely, we're excited to share that with you. So well, I thank you so much for coming and letting us know more about what we're moving forward and progressing towards for the whole City of Fairfield and the community. And I just think that's great. So
thank you.
Thank you.